Hey, it's Dr. Charles, aka CoachMD, coming to you live, Facebook Live, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, which is my usual time for my broadcast. And why do I do it at 12 noon? It's because on Monday. It's because Monday, for many people, including myself, is a day that we have a little challenge getting the week started. The unknown Sunday night comes around, and it's all what's going to happen the next week is all an unknown, gets us a little bit off center, perhaps. And it's one way for me to keep my feet grounded, to get my week off on the right foot, to broadcast and share with you some of the things that I've been thinking about and I've been sharing. As a lot of you know, I am a medical doctor, and I like to practice true holistic care. And what does true holistic care mean? It means balancing mind, body, and spirit, mind, body, and soul. And it's so important that a doctor, I feel, looks at these things. Why? Because so many imbalances of our spirit and our mind causes deep-seated physical ailments. And certainly the physical part is very important. Living good lifestyle with nutrients and exercise, that's all very important, don't get me wrong. And I do advise and try to practice that myself. But I have found in my almost 30 years, I can't even believe it, of medical practice, that what gets people sick and what can keep them well is one and the same thing. It's our ability to manage the challenges of everyday life. So that's a daily practice. But it's what a great time to start practicing that at the beginning of the week, when most of us are, again, a little out of sorts, not looking forward to the challenges of the week. It's one way to get our feet situated so we can move forward. And what I'd like to talk to you today about is let's put it this way, how our brain can cause us to do great harm to others and ourselves. And what does that mean? Well, we are capable of greatness. All of us are capable of great things. Great, and what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that you become famous necessarily. That doesn't necessarily mean you're great. It doesn't mean that you're going to become rich in your definition of rich, what your net worth is. Yeah, greatness occurs in all different facets. It is grounded here on the physical earth because that's where we are right now. So it may come out as happiness, it may come out as kindness, it may come out with monetary wealth or financial stability. Yeah, that's important, absolutely. And that's greatness. But guess what? We are all also very capable of destruction, not only to others, but self-destruction. So what does that look like? Well, it kind of looks like what we do and what we say to ourselves. And where does that come from? Why do we beat ourselves up? Why do we, when things are going great, why is it that all of a sudden clicking in is, oh my goodness, something bad is going to happen? Now, many of us grew up in homes where superstition was discussed. And I'm of the Jewish faith, and so when I was growing up, there was a lot of Yiddish kind of, not the language necessarily, but kind of very prize statements or prize phrases. And one of them was a kenahar. And a kenahar is the evil eye. And in the superstition, again, this is not religious at all. This is all man-made superstition, honestly. And what that means is that you don't want to say something too good about somebody or about a family member's health. It's almost as though you always have to be negative or you're going to jinx somebody. And those of you who like sports, as me, and if the other team is winning, you might want to put the jinx on them, and say something. If it's a football team, they never miss a field goal, or a baseball. About your team, my team hasn't hit a home run in a long time, or something like that. It's kind of the reverse jinx in a sense. But when we live our lives expecting for the next shoe to drop or the bad things to happen, it kind of sets up an energy that doesn't really attract in our lives or doesn't cause ripple effects of positivity. But where does that come from? Well, those of you who have listened to me for a while, or have read some of my blogs, or read my book Brain Drain, or downloaded fake news stories by your brain, but my brain also, you know that I very much care about this thing in our cranium called our brain, and our automatic brain. Now, our automatic brain is really not something that is the seed of our greatness. The seed of our greatness lies within our mind, our higher mind, our divine nature. That's what connects us to something that's really great and that can cause those positive ripple effects. But our automatic brain is just an animal, primitive brain, and all it's doing is scurrying around as we scurry around like a nervous squirrel, trying to avoid the hawk to come sweep down, or a predator. It's always surveying the landscape for danger, threat, or vulnerability. And so when goodness happens in our lives, well, goodness may mean that there could be a bad thing that could happen, because goodness is not going to hurt us. So our brain isn't really focusing, honing in on the good stuff. It's honing in on the bad stuff, because that could hurt us. So if we're going along good and everything is great, well, that brain is going to say, well, wait a second, Charles, something bad may happen. You better be careful. You better be on the lookout. So in a sense, if we want to have both feet in the goodness, in that great